is a third home fixture in 8 days for Arna's Red Machine. His side are looking to make it a remarkable 15 wins from their first 17 games of the season, and in doing so, ensure their place at the top of the table heading into the international break. Tonight's opponents are generally on the up under Unai Emery, but have hit a minor bump in the road as they adapt to juggling Champions League and Premier League football. Liverpool against Aston Villa this Saturday night. All the action gets underway at 8 o'clock. Welcome along to Matchday Live here at Anfield in the company of David Thompson and Neil Mellor. Evening, gents. We'll hear from them very shortly. But first, the team news is in, so we should give you Liverpool's starting 11 for this evening's clash with Villa. There are two alterations to the midweek victory over Bayer Leverkusen. In come Andy Robertson and Darwin Núñez. So it is Kevin Kelleher, Virgil van Dijk, Ibu Konate, Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez, Alexis McAllister, Mohamed Salah, Curtis Jones, Andy Robertson, Ryan Gravenberch and Trent Alexander-Arnold. On the bench, Jaros, Gomez, Endo, Szoboszlai, Gakpo, Tsimikas, Kwanzaa, Morton and Bradley. Yeah, welcome along. What a place to be playing football. What a place to be playing football on a night like this with the stage set so well for us after recent results. The atmosphere of late, Neil, has been building here, has it not? Particularly so in midweek.
I think it's played a huge part. I have to say that. Me and Tom have been fortunate enough to experience and how much of an impact the fans can make when you really need them. You know, the game, first of all, against Brighton before the Champions League game against Leverkusen. We needed something. We needed something on the pitch. I think there was a couple of tackles, maybe a bad refereeing decision. The crowd get going, and the players responded to that magnificently well and produced 3 points against Brighton. And then the other night against Leverkusen, Champions League, decent team, really decent team. Not many teams have beaten them. Top side, don't lose many games. 0-0, you're thinking this could go either way. They could get the first goal here. They had one disallowed in the first half. And the crowd just got involved again. And as much, and Xabi Alonso mentioned it, Leverkusen manager, as much as they prepared, you can't prepare for this as a player because all of a sudden the game just goes away from you. And the Leverkusen players were thinking, wow, and the Liverpool players' confidence levels just went to another level. And it was brilliant to watch. It was absolutely brilliant. And we might need them again tonight. You know, this will be a tough game, a close game. The fans may be needed tonight.
Yeah, well, Tom, I just wonder how much that atmosphere is helped by the fact supporters look at the league table and go, hold on a sec, we're top of the pile. Maybe didn't expect to be with all the change in the summer. They find themselves there. And, okay, we're still waiting for a result down on the south coast. City currently playing Brighton. That's before kick-off tonight down in that game. City currently lead by a goal to nil. So we haven't got that boost of yet, but still in a good position.
Oh, we're in a great position. I don't think it's a surprise to see us doing so well. I think it's... well, when I say so well, I didn't expect us to be absolutely top of the league and playing the football that we are playing and looking dominant in games as well. And I still feel like we haven't hit top gear yet as well. When you talk about the surprise element about the atmosphere, I think it's taken Arne Slot a little bit by surprise. You know, when he first came, we were talking about him experience Anfield for the first time and the atmosphere. And I think it was a little bit quiet on that day. But I think recently results, you know, people are starting to get a little bit optimistic, a little bit excited, and it's starting to have a knock-on effect to the crowd. And I think he's starting to feel it. I think he's starting to feel how much of an impact the crowd plays on the players at Anfield.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen every game. You know, you think about some of the games last season, some of the comfortable wins. Villa last season, comfortable. The crowd weren't needed. Bournemouth, you know, this season, no, it was okay. It wasn't one of the great games, atmospheres. Fulham last year was. 3-1 down, the crowd were needed. We turned around and won 4-3. So there's no sort of rhyme or reason. And it's not a case of the fans will be at it from the word go. It's when they're needed, they really do help the team. And in a way, sometimes you don't want them to be needed every game. And hopefully tonight is one of those where we have too much for Villa.
But the results help that. But it's not just in the Premier League the results have come. The results have come generally. Look at the return after 16 games. It's the best ever return by Liverpool side across all competitions. The numbers are impressive. Yeah. Again, when maybe people's expectations weren't low, but were just dipped slightly given again, alterations, change over managers, change over personnel. But the results just keep on coming.
I agree with you there when you say, you know, the expectations dipped a little bit because, you know, you've got to give the manager a little bit of time and a little bit of, you know, a little bit of time to come in and bed his ideas in. And that's what's happened a little bit. But fair play to him. The team looks really well balanced. He's rotating the squad at the right times. Players are playing well. They're understanding the instructions, what he's trying to pass on, and they're getting results, and we're in a good position, in all competitions here. So it's been a really, it is beyond expectations, because you want to give him a bit more time, but it's unbelievable what he's achieving at this moment.
Yeah, and you make the most of those opportunities when they come along. We touched on it a few moments ago. You mentioned how well the team performed second half, particularly against Bayer Leverkusen. Yeah. Are you surprised at all, given how well they performed, he's made a couple of changes?
Me and Tomo would not be happy if we'd been dropped, if we started against Leverkusen. But that's footballers, and you want them to be disappointed if they're not starting. I think what you would say is there's real competition for places. Certainly when you look at the attack, you're saying it's 2 from 3. It's Gakpo, it's Diaz, it's Nunes. It's 2 from that 3. Gakpo misses out today. It was Nunes the other night against Leverkusen. It was Diaz at the weekend against Brighton. So there's a little bit of rotation there. It's Tsimikas or Robbo. Robbo's set out for a couple of weeks. Now he's a little bit fresher, raring to go. Andy Robertson comes in. Tsimikas has done great. And then the other one where you're thinking what might be a change is Curtis Jones or Szoboszlai. But Curtis Jones did so well, and has done so well recently. Yeah, yes. Scored against Chelsea, did really well against Leverkusen. I mean, that assist for the first goal for Diaz was unbelievable. And so he gets a nod. So competition for places. Disappointed not to start, but there's some options on the bench if the manager needs to change it.
And he's been very good, hasn't he, Tomo, at managing the minutes of players within the games. You've seen him go to his bench regularly in the second half of matches and make 4 or 5 changes, give guys that little breather.
Yeah, and he's always got one eye on the next game, on who's going to play and who's going to be. It's horses for courses, and I think, if you're Cody Gakpo tonight, you will be really disappointed, because he's in fine form, and I think he's been an unbelievable signing for us. He's one of the most intelligent footballers, this club's had. But in terms of, Darwin Núñez tonight, I can see why he's been picked. He wants to unsettle that back four if they're going to dig in and try and, play for a point. I think it's an important game for Aston Villa tonight. I think, if they win today, I think they can jump up to 3rd place above Forest. So it's going to be a really difficult game, but it is horses for courses, and you've got to manage it, and that's what that's what Arne Slot's good at. There's a strategy with this guy.
Leverkusen was good. Second half was very good. Yeah. What impressed you most? Was it just that thirst for more in the second half that perhaps caught the eye most of all?
Yeah, I think it was watching the team find a level which you have to find if you're to beat a top side. Leverkusen are a top side. Make no mistake about that. They won. They lost in the Europa League final against Atalanta last year. They won the Bundesliga unbeaten. Leverkusen don't lose many games. So not just to beat them 1-0, 2-0, to absolutely hammered them, and we did second half. We created a lot of chances. We ended up scoring 4 goals. This was a big moment in the game, because we were thinking, is he offside, isn't it? 1-0 Leverkusen might have got a lift from that if that goal would have been disallowed, but we get the second, and the crowd stayed in the game to when the third goes in. That was it. Leverkusen were done there. And what pleased me mostly, I'm glad we're showing this, because we could have just shown the 4 goals. We're showing Kelleher, who had very little to do in the game, making a couple of big saves late on in the game.
Crucial saves.
Well, it wouldn't have changed the outcome of the game. It wouldn't, but it gives him a clean sheet, and that gives him a huge lift. And yeah, it would have been a consolation goal. And here we go. I mean, it was the 4th goal. Diaz with a hat-trick. I think that was nice for Luis Diaz, because I wouldn't say we stumbled across, but the manager wasn't sure about who would play defensive midfield this season. There was a lot of reports, a lot of speculation. Will we go in the transfer market and bring someone in that 6? A natural. We didn't. Gravenberch went there as sort of, not the natural, but said, I'll do sort of the job for the team. And he's made it look like he's played there all his life. He's been magnificent. And I thought the other night was maybe one of those situations. Diaz up top, Gakpo down the left, Salah down the right. So now we've got an option. Núñez starts tonight, but we can play Diaz down the middle at times if Gakpo is to start as well.
Diaz 9 goals now so far this season. Do you see that improvement in numbers continuing through the campaign from what you've seen in the early matches?
I mean, he's an unbelievable footballer, Luis Diaz. I think last season, obviously, the stuff that was going on outside and off the pitch, that definitely had an impact. His injury as well took a little bit out of him. So I think he's come back fighting fit this year. He's looked sharp. He's looked hungry. I think there's talk about him being in talks about a new contract as well, and I think that's crucial because he's a top player. I was surprised to see him in the 9 role the other night. I think, and I was surprised how well he actually did. His runs in behind and his sharpness. He was eager. think it's worked out really well. I don't know whether they've stumbled across it, they've worked on it in training, but you know, it worked out really well.
I think he needed to start the season well, because last season was disappointing for Luis Diaz. He didn't contribute enough in terms of goals,
Understandably
assists.
so, though.
But yeah, I understand that, but he missed one Premier League game, so you're thinking he needs to start the season well, and he has. It's been absolutely magnificent, one of the main men, and you can understand why Cody Gakpo at times might have to sit on the bench because of how well Diaz has been playing.
Yeah,
that's been a problem position, though, that 9. It's been a problem position this year. I think we've played Jota there. I don't think that's worked out too well. I think he's looked a little bit lost at times. He's been coming deep towards the ball. It's been a little bit difficult, so it has been a problem position. Maybe something that we can look at in January or in the summer next year. But for me, it's been a problem position.
9 goals so far for Luis Diaz, joint top scorer so far this season alongside Mohamed Salah. Hopefully he does continue on that trend for the rest of the campaign. OK, we can grab a word with the boss now. As mentioned, it's a remarkable 14 wins for Arne Slot from his first 16 games in charge of the Reds. He's been speaking about the team's impressive form and that of a certain individual, Curtis Jones.
With Curtis, maybe it's not me who did it, because he became a father and I had nothing to do with that. No. You never know if that plays a part or not. But it is since the moment he became a father, he started putting great performances in. And he already did this in the first few weeks that we worked together in pre-season. I was like, quality player, but then his performance was dropped a bit. But since the moment he, like I just said, became father, he's outstanding again. And yeah, I don't think it might have to do a bit with that, but in general, I think it has to do with the way the team plays, because every player that comes in has a good performance, and that probably tells you a lot about the quality of the team, how they play together. That then, as a result of that, individual performance are good as well.
Yeah, I've been talking about the start you've had so far, the 16 games, 14 wins, 1 draw, 1 defeat. And of course, dispatching the Bundesliga champions is a very good way to continue that as well. Have you been surprised at just how well this start has been for you and for Liverpool this season?
I don't think surprise is the right word to use, because I knew the quality of our team. But quality is one thing, but to be consistent is a second thing. And I'm not surprised in this, because from the moment I started working with them, I saw how much energy they put in on a daily basis. And that is, I think, the reason why you can be consistent. If you do the work on a daily basis every day, you can be consistent, and sometimes a bit of luck comes with that as well. Most of our results were, I think, deserved, but some of them were a close call. And then, then you have maybe a bit of luck as well. But in general, not surprised, because of the quality I already thought there was in the team. And when I started working with them, I also saw how much effort they put in to get these results.
After Leverkusen, you mentioned that managers seem to come to Anfield and change their game plan a lot. Thinking about Aston Villa, they've got such depth in their squad, not only in personnel, but in terms of style. How hard is it to try and game plan for all the different permutations?
If you ask me now, I would say it's not that difficult, because Unai Emery has played in a similar style for years now at Aston Villa. It's almost always the same formation, but it sometimes depends on a player that you can have different characteristics. But his style of play, his idea about football has been the same always. Saying this, that also was the situation with Xabi Alonso, who we studied for I don't know how many games, but never once he came up with the idea of playing Boniface as a left winger. And playing without a number 9, that he hasn't done at all before we played them. But that's maybe also a compliment. Most managers feel that we have a very good team, so they think they have to change their game plan, not their playing style, but their game plan a bit. If you ask me now, do you expect Unai to change a lot? I would not expect that, because he never did this. Not if he played City, and also not when he played Liverpool in the past few years. But in terms of personnel, he can change a bit, like you just said. He has different option in the fullback, different option in the wings. But it's always been a 4-4-2 that he's been playing for many years now.
Well, the boss was talking about Villa just then. We can bring you the team news now. We think it'll be a 4-2-3-1 with 3 changes from the side that lost to Club Brugge in midweek. It'll be Emi Martinez in goal as usual, the skipper. A back four of Ezri Konsa, Diego Carlos, Pau Torres and Luca Dean. He comes in for Maatsen. The 2 sitters will be Amadou in there alongside Yuri Tielemans, and then Jacob Ramsey, Morgan Rogers and Leon Bailey will be the 3 forward-thinking midfield players, with Ollie Watkins to lead the line. Amadou Onana in there in the middle alongside Yuri Tielemans, On the bench, Olsen, Bogard, Maatsen, Mings, Kamara, McGinn, somewhat surprisingly, Buendia, Philogene and the super sub, John Duran. OK, watching on from the main stand gantry tonight, Steve Hunter will be providing our live audio commentary. We can join up with the legend now. Steve.
Mark, you are too kind, amigo, far too kind. But great to be here, isn't it, at Anfield once again. Under the lights, a Saturday night, 8 o'clock kickoff. It's got a real Champions League feel to it, doesn't it? And you sense that, like the atmosphere in the last 2 games here, Brighton and Leverkusen midweek, the fans are certainly going to be well up for this one tonight. You see how the team respond with the fans. It's a beautiful combination, isn't it? It really is. Well, Nigel Spackman, our favourite Cockney Scouser, is with us tonight. Spacker's, of course, a great character who featured in one of the best Liverpool teams we've seen in recent times, that 87-88 team with Barnes, Beardsley, Aldo, Razor Houghton in there too. But Aston Villa coming here, of course, on the back. They didn't play well in their Premier League game last weekend at Tottenham, and they don't have a good Anfield record. Liverpool have won 5 and drawn 1 of the last 6 Anfield games against Villa. Last season, of course, Liverpool were tremendous. I remember it well for Dominic Szoboszlai getting off the mark for Liverpool. Anfield Road end, what an explosive hit it was, giving Emi Martinez absolutely no chance. Matty Cash got an own goal, and then Darwin Núñez setting up Mo Salah for a goal. Remember, Núñez, who's back in the team today, give the Villa defenders a real torrid time. The crowd were really with him, and you sense under the lights tonight, don't you, that Núñez, he revels in that sort of atmosphere. He's got to enjoy this one tonight, isn't he? We hope he can, as far as Liverpool are concerned in this one here today. Tight gantry, you can see people going past here. That's live TV for you, isn't it, here in the Anfield gantry tonight? But of course, Liverpool, hoping to go into the international break with another excellent performance. And of course, don't forget, the Reds have scored more goals against Aston Villa than they have any other side. 344 to be precise. But as I say, Anfield under the lights. We've had some special nights here, haven't we? Let's hope we get it again. It's back to the legend, the one, the only, Mr. Mark Benstead.
Thank you, Steve. Nothing like being live on the telly and some guy squeezing past you in a very small gap. Steve dealt with it magnificently, though, as I expected him to. OK, we're about to leave those of you who are watching us on social media. If you aren't already a subscriber to LSC TV, you can find the details of how to sign up online at liverpoolfc.com/watch. Here's a quick snippet of what we've got coming up on tonight's Matchday Live, though, which includes an interview with Cody Gakpo before kick-off. As mentioned, live audio commentary of all the action is on the way from 8 with Steve and Spackers. And shortly after full-time, we'll be back with analysis and interviews from what we've seen in the game here tonight. And the post-match show will also be available as a podcast later on. You can also catch the full match replay on LSC TV at 6 p.m. tomorrow. And do look out for the best behind-the-scenes footage on Inside Anfield, which lands on the club's official Facebook and YouTube channels on Monday. OK, it's another tricky opponent for in-form Liverpool this evening. Will it be Saturday night all right for the Reds, or could it be a thriller from the Villa? More build-up is on the way in a couple of minutes' time.